the banning issue that I see people talking about. People wanted president to say foreigners cannot own Spaza shops. The constitution of this country, unfortunately, the constitution that people celebrate, the constitution that was adopted by majority, does not allow that. It talks to everyone having a right to trade, but it does give us an enabling environment where it says, but those can be regulated, which is what we are doing. With the fact that there in the Immigration Act, Section 15 of the Immigration Act is very clear on who can trade, who is a non-South African. The Immigration Act, as things stand, between the Department of Home Affairs and DTIC, the determination is that non-South Africans can only be able to trade in South Africa if they invest a minimum of 5 million rands. Now, if the president says everybody has to be compliant, it means if you are going as a non-South African, there's your documentation that gives you the right to be here, and the documentation that gives you the right to trade. So it's not like you're going to come because you are a South African, you don't bring the documents, or you're a non-South African, you can do. So all of these things that people are worried about, they are going to be addressed because those people that have the right to trade will be the people that will trade.
Hello everybody, welcome to the controversial podcast. My name is Ejabot Emmanuel. Thank you for joining me. It is a wonderful day indeed. Someone sent me this video and they asked me what is my take on it. Well, I'm just gonna say this. I think we were all over our heads, and we think some of these things will be solved by politics, but they cannot. The reason why I'm saying that, number one is these ideas do not solve the problem. Yes, they are under the law, but they cannot solve this issue. What will solve this issue is very complex, because if you say these people don't need to, they need to comply with this registration so they can operate. Remember, majority, it might work for a Malawian or a Mozambicans because they don't have a very strong background in terms of funding. But for people of the East, like Bangladeshis and Indians and the rest, most of their funding, they get them from mosques. Majority of mosques are powerful, are registered. So which means they might just get the mosque to go register that business and comply with the 5 million, and then name all the Spaza shops under one name and get the guys to run them again. That's number one issue that you're gonna have to deal with. Number two, as we all know, that when it's come to our Nilotic brothers, the Ethiopians, the Somalians, these guys are very, 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 very united. They are able to destroy many businesses, including in town, because they can unite. They can come 2-3 people, they put the money together, they rent a place that one person who was greedy was renting, and then they will kick you out and they get the place for themselves, which also technically means they still can unite. If you remember the story, I talked about it, that there were Ethiopians who actually were putting money together so they can get, and they managed to raise up to 50 million to say they want permanent residence. So what is going to be a problem with 5 million? They can just get, if with that 50 million they had, I think 10 families they can redistribute it into 10 families, and 5 million, 5 million, 5 million, and then they comply, they go and register. And those 10 families will easily get the rest of the families together and run the Spaza shops under the name of those 10 families. So this proposal still does not solve the problem. Now, for me, I think what solves the problem is to allow everybody to operate. And then there need to be a constant checkup for compliance. That's number one solution. Because that on its own, if one is found non-compliant, automatically they lose their license to trade and automatically they close their shop down. That on its own can close up to 99% of the shops. Then number two, we need to continue directing the focus on what is killing the kids. Because this whole issue, I don't know why everybody is running away from the real issue. The real issue is children have died. That's where the problem is. I don't know why everybody's obsessed with who can operate and who cannot operate. We need to find, I'm saying we, because we are all involved, because that child could have been my child, could have been your child, could have been a Pakistanis child, could have been an Indian child, could have been anybody's child. It's just unfortunate it ended up being a child of maybe someone who is in Soweto, but it could be anybody's child. So we need to find what killed them. That's where the focus needs to go. That's where the focus needs to go. So that's what I wanted to say. I don't know what you think, but I think we need some at some point to go into that direction, and probably we'll find solutions.